And now, coming in at number 1, it's Matvei Michkov.
Here we go.
Hopefully making his debut next Friday the 13th at the rookie game. You said weeks ago you expect him to play. Do you still expect him to play in one, if not both, rookie games?
Yes. Well, he's definitely going to play in one. I think it was Kevin Kurz who earlier this week said that he from what he's heard, it looks like he's only going to get in one. Fingers crossed it'll be the Friday game. Really, really hope it's the Friday game.
If it's... That is going to be very disappointing.
It seems unfair if they sit him for the first game, because the first game is the one people care about more.
Yeah.
Because it's the first game. It's the first game, the first unofficial Flyers game after a summer of nothing. To me, it makes sense to play him. If you're going to play him in one of the two, play him in the first.
Big Friday night now in town.
Yeah.
Bring the people in.
Exactly.
Show ALLCITY Kolosov what he's missing. Maybe he'll be there.
God. Maybe
Kolosov will be suited up. You know what? If Michkov doesn't play, but Kolosov does, I will be just as excited for Friday's game. I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
But then I'm definitely going to Saturday if he doesn't play Friday.
Right,
I'll tell
course,
you that. Yeah.
Of course.
All right. Matvei Michkov. What are fair expectations for him? Like, we are thinking the world of this guy. He is, I don't want to call him the franchise savior, but he kind of has to be.
And with the way they're building this team.
Looking at this prospect pool, yes, elite prospects ranked us at 7 or 6, was it?
6.
Sixth best.
But they do say in the breakdown that once Michkov graduates, they're going to go down. Not to the nether reaches of the list, but they're probably going to drop to at least the late teens, mid to late teens, I would think.
Pronman in his pipeline ranked him 13th. Yeah. So not exactly top of the line, more middle of the road.
Right.
He has to be that guy. What does that look like this year? Can we say, yeah, man, it has to be 60 points? What is, to be on the trajectory we need him on, a fair expectation for year one for a dude who's not yet 20?
We can say whatever we want. And that's one of the thrills of this job, is that we can literally say whatever we want. In my mind, if he scores over 45, 50 points, I think that is a perfectly fine rookie season, and that will not have me worried at all about the potential for him to be a really, really good player in 2-3 years. But obviously, if he comes out and scores point per game or close to it, because I'm not necessarily expecting to play all 82. Not because I'm Tortorella is going to scratch for 2 weeks. No, I could easily see him getting hurt, missing a couple weeks due to injury or whatever. But if he's around point per game as a rookie, as excited as people are now, oh man.
Charlie, you mentioned Tortorella scratching him, and that is the money quote from your conversation with Flair regarding Michkov.
Yes.
This is so good. Mind you, he's going to have to change some things. There, he can cheat, speaking of in the KHL, playing with Sochi. Mm-hmm. Torts knows what he is as a player, so it's not like he's going to have a big string on him, but I'm sure there will be some snaps early that will get our fans upset. But there's certain things, you can't have a 2-minute shift and hang out there on the red line or whatever. There's things that aren't going to fly over here, but he's smart enough to know that too. And that is, I think, especially early in the season for me, more than Michkov's production is the back and forth between Tortorella and the hopeful superstar that carries this team's offense.
Right.
We have said there's a world where these two get along swimmingly because they're both competitive and they know what to expect out of each other, and all either of them cares about is winning. Doesn't matter how many eggs they break along the way. Mm-hmm. Maybe they're the perfect combination for each other.
Maybe.
And John Tortorella, last season, when he changed the offense, did so saying, well, this is what this guy does well.
Mad Russians coming.
So when he gets here, we should do the things that work for him.
And I think it's also worth remembering that it's not like he clashed or held back Artemi Panarin.
Yes.
In Columbus.
So
there is a track record of him coaching guys like Michkov with that kind of skill, and it's not like he, keeps them, chained up.
It's not always the disaster it was with the Sedins, where he's yelling at them to block shots and they're laughing at him. And it lasts 1 year, and it's like, this isn't going to work. He has had success with highly skilled guys in the past. It can work. Do you expect a major blow up at some point, though?
I don't know if I expect a major blow up. I do expect that there will be times where Tortorella gets frustrated with him and disciplines him. Now, whether that's as a healthy scratch or whether that's just like, hey, you're going to be playing with Nick Deslauriers and Garnet Hathaway for a game, or you're not playing in the third period. I'm short of my bench and you ain't one of the guys who's going out there while Ryan Poehling is getting every second shift. And people are going to go nuts. Like, people on Twitter, understandably, and people just generally speaking in the fan base are going to go nuts. And there is an element to this. Like, I don't think it's irrational for people to get angry at those types of things. Like, I had a quote tweet of that quote. I posted that quote on Twitter yesterday. And I had a quote tweet that, like, it's a very fair point. And basically what that person said, and it was in joking form, but there was a kernel of truth to it, is it's like, there's going to be some family that saved up all their money to go to one game, and Matvei Michkov's not going to be playing because John Tortorella threw a shit fit.
And thank you to our PHLY diehards. We could not do what we do here without our diehards. So make sure you go to allphly.com. Sign up to be a diehard if you haven't already. Yeah,
but that's a reasonable point because, look, Michkov is the thing that they are using to sell tickets. He is the guy. He is the thing that all of the season ticket reps are. From my understanding, the day it got announced, they sent out a phone call blitz of like, hey, did you see the Michkov news? Why don't you buy season tickets? So it's a fair point that these fans who are buying tickets in no small part to see Michkov, and Tortorella's attempts at discipline and teaching him the right way will run counter to the reasonable expectations of fans who just want to see this kid do cool hockey things.
Let's just do it on the road, John.
Just do it on the road.
Let's just do it on the road.
That's the compromise.
Maybe that's not fair to out-of-town fans, but life ain't fair.
Life ain't fair.
You bought a ticket to see the Flyers. You get what you get. They're not very good. But, yeah, Matvei Michkov is the draw. Maybe let's just do it on the road. I will say, I think we said this earlier in the offseason, I think Torts somewhat has to.
To discipline him a bit?
I think he has to... Maybe not do the like Kevin Hayes, just like treat him poorly all year,
right?
Like, at least in Kevin Hayes' mind, you know. But like after a couple of years of John Tortorella just busting everyone's balls nonstop, this kid comes in. He's gonna be the number one jersey. Like that's gonna be the number one jersey in the Wells Fargo Center this year. Everyone's gonna want their Michkov stuff. Listen, we're trying to cash in. We have multiple Michkov shirts. Like we don't have other stuff, you know. It's not like we do have a dry guy, the fly guy, but like it's Michkov, man. Like that's what this thing is. They're gonna like the rest of the locker room. I'm sure they're excited to have the help.
Oh, absolutely.
Because like it sucks never scoring. You know, the power play being so much worse than just the second worst power play. Like, I bet you they're happy to have the help, but it is this 20-year-old kid coming in with all the fanfare of, like, something the Flyers have not had in a long time is this amount of attention. I think to maybe keep the locker room a little happy, you might have to crack the whip a little just to, hey, man, yeah, we sat Sean Couturier last year. We can't make exceptions for you, dude. Like, the longest tenured athlete on the team, one of the longest tenured athletes in the city, the dude we gave the captaincy a month ago, got healthy scratched. You're not above it either.
Yeah.
I do think there is going to have to be a little bit of that.
And, I mean, there absolutely will be that behind closed doors.
Yes.
Because the famous tape sessions they have behind closed doors, everybody gets ripped. No one is safe in those sessions. Tortorella rips everyone. It's like, you know, we're all equally piles of crap in John Tortorella's eyes in those tape studies. But I do agree that it will be important for John Tortorella if he wants to sustain this culture of accountability that over the last 2 years he's tried to create, that look, these players know hockey. They know when a guy is told to do something and then doesn't do it. They see it. They all see it on the bench. They see it if they're on the ice with them. They know. And if John Tortorella lets it slide when he didn't let it slide with a bunch of other guys, you're going to have grumbling. You're going to have grumbling where, you know, I'm trying to think of a guy like a Bobby Brink He's like,
Brink gets sent down.
Last year, I did that same thing, and you benched me and you sent me down. And when Michkov did it, he just patted him back and said, good job.
Farabee had a 56-second game last year.
Yeah.
Like, Morgan Frost, all he does is score for the team.
Yeah.
And they're like, but we don't like him.
There will be guys who will crumble.
Yeah.
So I do agree that Tortorella will have to make it abundantly clear that it's not like there are two sets of rules. Everybody still follows the same rules. Otherwise, he risks screwing up what he's built over these 2 years and this accountability and the culture that the Flyers believe is so important. That is true.
All right. And that's like the show, Charlie.
That's like, one thing I did want to point out, we mentioned this at the beginning of the conversation about Michkov, about reasonable expectations. Here is what I would say is, I wouldn't even call it the low end, but I'm going to make a comparison here with Matvei Michkov, because obviously Michkov didn't play in the NHL the year after being drafted. So I'm mostly looking at draft plus 2 seasons. Jack Hughes in his draft plus 2 season scored 31 points in 56 games. I would not be shocked if Michkov ends up doing something like that. That would be a 45-point pace over 82. Means he missed some time because Hughes missed some time. He's a smallish guy too. Yep. And if that's what Michkov puts up, fans will be disappointed and they will be frustrated because they will be saying, we were sold that this guy's the future, this guy's our savior, and he's just looking like a decent player. The next season, Jack Hughes scored 56 points in 49 games. The season after that, he scored 99 points, 78. So if Michkov doesn't explode in his first year, as long as he doesn't look completely overmatched, I do not think it is the end of the world. Now, it would be better if he scores 80 points in 82 games, doesn't get hurt at all, and runs away with the Calder. That would be awesome. But I don't think it is a death knell for his future superstar potential if he just puts up okay scoring numbers in his first season with the team.
Granted, not the draft pedigree, but a guy that I've seen him compared to a lot. I mean, they're both Russian. Russians always get compared to Russians.
Sure.
Nikita Kucherov, he's a winger. He's a superstar, but not a center. Similar, I think, expectations. Mm-hmm. We need this guy to basically be Nikita Kucherov if our number one player is going to be a right winger.
I think that's fair.
Rookie year, 20 years old, like Michkov's going to be. 52 games, 18 points.
He played real low in that lineup, though.
Yeah, he played 13 minutes a night.
He played lower than Michkov is going to play.
Only 13 minutes. But even like the next couple of years, as his ice time goes up, 65 points, 66. Doesn't have the point a game season until he's 23.
It took time. Remember, he was on that line with Tyler Johnson and Andre Palat, the triplets.
Yeah.
But even then, like, that was the supporting line to Stamkos and the big guns.
So
Michkov's usage is going to be a little different.
He's going to be one of the 2 best players right away, probably. If not one of the 4.
Hopefully.
Unless, like, maybe Tippett's also. Like, these things are possible. But right now I'm looking at it as, like, Konechny and Michkov are the 2 best players.
He's playing in the
team.
top 6.
He is absolutely playing in the top 6. Whether you want to call it the first or second line, there's not a first line. Right. There's 2 second lines, basically.
It's fair. All right. But you don't have a clear-cut 1C.
Yes.
You don't have a first line.
You don't have a first line.
We all silly like the mayor.